channels. These blue lines are actually something called V bottoms, and you don't really need to know too much about that. The only thing that's really kind of interesting is in a very long-term scenario, V bottoms have become significant recently. I mean, I'm just going back to like 1999. There was a significant V bottom here in which prices ran up dramatically. And I'm taking a look now at whether or not a V bottom is forming here recently in the markets. If in fact a V bottom is starting to form, in the way I take a look at V bottom is these long stem candlestick charts here. They have a very long stem at the bottom of each one of these bars, and these bars come down to form the left side of the V. And then long stems form the right side of the V as it moves up. So it's going to be interesting and significant to see if in fact the market rallies from this point and a long stem forms here, just like it has in the past. In this particular V, you had a couple of long stems here, here, and here, and then there was a long stem on the right side of the V as well. So I'm kind of taking a look at that to see if in fact a long stem, we've already got one long stem on the right side of the V. I'm kind of taking a look and keeping an eye on this one, this particular month now, to determine whether or not another long stem is going to be in place here, in which will act as support for the market to move up from this point. But channels is also another significant technical analysis tool that you can use. I showed you support and resistance points, and now I'll show you how I draw channels. Let's eliminate this channel just for a second. Let's eliminate this channel. This is actually a sideways channel. I like to take a look at channels, especially long-term channels. And the way I do that is I simply go into my drawing tools. I highlight channel here. And the way I place my channels is basically taking a look at these high points and seeing where they line up with maybe any low points previously to that. So I come down here, I start to draw one channel. All I try to do is connect the dots. And then what happens is this channel tool begins to pop out, and I can start to draw a channel here on the bottom of this. And you really have to kind of eye it. You know, where do you want your channel to start? Where do you want it to end? You know, what do you want to include? What don't you want to include? So, you know, you could make an argument for placing the channel here, because there's a little bar here touching that channel. I want as many touch points as possible on this lower channel line and on the upper channel line. There was a support level here that I liked. There was a little bit of a support here. There was resistance here. There was resistance up in here on this upper trend line channel. And I like to see as many points as possible touching this uptrend channel line, this top channel line. I also like to see, when I form these channels, as many points that touch it at the bottom as well. So here's one point, here's another point, there's another point here, and there's a couple of points in here. And so far, prices have not broken through this particular downtrend, this uptrend channel line, this lower trend channel line. So, you know, I'll be keeping a very, very close eye on that as well. So that is additional, you know, that's additional evidence that not only is the uptrend still intact, but we may also be forming a V bottom here in prices of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. If that's the case, and prices do not significantly drop through this lower trend channel line, or drop below this V that is being formed on this V bottom. Now, if prices were to drop below this V and they were to drop below this lower trend channel line, then I would suggest that we're probably going to be in a very long bear market, or at least a trading market in between this 11,500 and 12,750, or even higher level for a long time. These two, basically the support and resistance points and a channel. Now this upper trend channel line is the upper trend channel line, and then this is 25% of this. And you can set that up when you do your price and when you do your channels. And I can show you too that if you highlight this, you can see that you want to, if you want to, you can show the 75% line, which is this upper line, upper middle line, and you can show the 25% line, which is this lower middle line. You can also show the 50% median line, which goes right through the center of it. And sometimes that's significant as well. Generally what will happen is as prices move down to touch this lower trend line, they will pause at the 50% line, which they did here, before hitting the 75% line and then hitting this top line here. And that's exactly what happens. I like using channels because it kind of gives me a better picture of the trend of the market or a particular stock. I also like support and resistance points, and I've given you just about everything I use in technical analysis. These V-bottoms are not really that necessary. If you just learn the support and resistance points and the trends and the channels, that's pretty much all you're going to need for entering both the monthly trades as well as the trades that we're going to talk about in Module 11. And then when you add to that the price and volume analysis that I talked about earlier. For example, one of the reasons that I like Starbucks at this level was because of these large price bars here. It looked like, I mean, if you take a look at the amount of volume coming into this stock at these levels, at the 23 level, there was over 127 million shares, 137 million shares traded on that one day.